So once again, good evening to all of you. Sorry for the very quick tawag dito, quick notice for our review tonight. So this will be focusing on Gen Ed physical science. All right. So this will be general science, and this will the area of focus will be physical science. Remember that we had our Gen Ed biological science, which we had in the earlier part of our review. And so in this slide presentation, we will be again rationalizing questions pertaining to Gen Ed physical science. This will be both important to the secondary education and elementary education, since this is Gen Ed, and probably might be asked also in major shift for science majors. All right, so samahan niyo ako, no? So just use the chat box. We have two options. You can answer through everyone in meeting or through direct message to my name. You just have to look for my name, Danilo again, so I can just see your answer. But if you want to answer it using everyone, that's not a problem. All right? So I hope alam niyo na yung mga tanong na nandito since ilang araw na lang, board exam na. And of course, my fervent prayer for you is that you will be able to pass and even top the board licensure examination for professional teachers. All right? So pa-heart react naman dyan kung papasa kayo. Sige nga. Pa-heart react naman sa mga nandito. Yeah, thank you so much. So, hintayin na lang natin yung iba later to come in. Alright? So, thank you so much. Alright, sige, simulan na natin for the first question. Sound will travel fastest in blank. A, water. B, solid. C, air. D, plastic. One of the most common questions, no? In Gen Ed Science under physical science. So, what's the answer? Sige, can you put it in the chat box? Okay, I can see answer here. Okay. So that is letter. Okay, letter. Yes, letter B. Correct. So letter B is the answer. So this actually, sound actually travels, no, fastest in solid. All right. So usually for sound, of course, it travels, no, in different medium. It could travel in gas, no, but you can see here that when sound waves travel in gas or through air, that's so slow as compared to solids, which sound waves travel very, very fast. All right. So sound travels through matter, through either gas, liquids, or solid, but in solids, it travels faster. Okay, question. How about light? In what medium does it travel fastest? If sound travels fastest in solid, how about light? Saan naman siya nagta-travel ng mas mabilis? Okay? So, it actually travels in a vacuum. Pag walang vacuum sa pagpipilian, anong isasagot? If you don't have vacuum in the option, so ang isasagot ninyo ay air. O, tatandaan nyo na, very common, no? Both BEd and BSed. Alright, question. Perfumes contain organic compounds called A, alcohol, B, ether, C, acid, D, esters. So pag perfume, anong organic compound ang component niyan? Okay? One of the most repeated question din to sa Gen Ed. Gaya na sinabi ko yung last kasi focus natin sa Gen Ed Science nakaraan bio. So ngayon, punta tayo sa physics, physical science, including physics and chemistry. So the answer is letter D. That's correct. So letter D, which is of course ester. So tatandaan, perfumes, esters. Perfume, ester. So basically, ester is a group, no? Our one oxygen atom is doubly bonded to a carbon atom, which is singly bonded to another oxygen atom, which is again singly bonded to another carbon atom. So while ether is an ether group, is a group where an oxygen atom is singly bonded to two carbon atoms or the alkyl group. So esters are widely used, no, in manufacturing, particularly in the perfume industry. Okay, so next. So the Philippines lies in a place where there are many volcanoes, which make it prone to blank. A typhoon, B, flooding, C, drought, D, earthquakes. It's the answer. O, diba? Very easy lang itong mga tanong natin sa Gen Ed, no? Sige nga, anong sagot ninyo? Mhm. Okay. All right. So I can see a lot of these here. Okay. Di nga kaya. So remember that Philippines is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, which of course allows the country to have a lot of volcanoes. And along this, uh, because we're part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, there is also the high probability that the country is very prone to earthquakes. So apart from the volcanoes, earthquakes. But remember, not all earthquakes in the country is due to earthquake, no? So hindi not really due to the magmatic movement. All right? So kaya nga 'di ba in the Philippines we have the agency, no? Ano na nga yung agency natin that supervises uh the volcanic activities and even the reporting of earthquakes, no? Ano ang agency 'yun? Paka-chat nyo nga sa chat box natin. What agency is concerned about that? Mhm. That's correct, no? PHIVOLCS, no? So anong ibig sabihin na ng PHIVOLCS? Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. So pag nakita sa board exam, Gen Ed Science, how do you call the study of volcano? Anong sagot? How do you call the study of volcano? That is, of course, okay, tama, no? Volcanology. While for the study of earthquakes, ano na nga ulit yon, that is seismology. So, study of volcanoes, volcanology, study of earthquakes, seismology or seismology. So, question, under what department ang PHIVOLCS? What is the mother department? Because PHIVOLCS is an attached agency under this department. Anong department? Pag tinanong sa board exam, future top notchers, pag-asa kaya? Anong department? Department ba yung pag-asa? Alright, Department of Science and Technology, nandiyan na rin sa slide natin. So, DOST. So, pag tinanong din sa board exam, ang pag-asa isang attached agency ng anong department, okay, DOST din. Because pag-asa pertains naman to ano nga ba ulit yung pag-asa? Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, Astronomical Services Administration. So usually, ito naman yung mga sa weather and climate natin, no? Sa weather disturbances, sa mga typhoons, and even astronomical tawag dito, astronomical phenomenon. Kaya nga, di ba, laging tinatanong sa Gen Ed Science din, the first microsatellite developed by Filipinos. Pakilagay nga sa chat box anong sagot. The first ever microsatellite developed by Filipinos. Laging tinatanong to, no? Every season na lang. Okay? Oh, good evening, no? Sa lahat po nakapapasok. Pasensya na. Parang sabi ko, ay hindi kasi natin natuloy yung ano natin. So, sabi ko, magki-quick, lang ako, review for Gen Ed Physical Science kasi hindi ba ako nagbigay nito. Okay, that's correct, no? Diwata di first. Pag tinanong ulit sa board exam, no, at least alam natin yan. Okay? So, good evening din to paki-chat nyo nga yung pangalan. Hindi ako sure si Vivo, no? You can just chat in the chat box para ma-recognize ko. Alright, sige. Thank you. So next question. All of the following contribute to environmental conservation, except A. Carburetor X-hose, B. Waste segregation, C. Energy conservation, D. Reforestation. Hi, good evening, Keith, Leah, Teacher Keith. Yeah. Okay, so I see a lot of A's, no? I'm very confident, no? Ang mga sagot, naka-everyone. Sige, okay lang. Sige. Mas maganda na rin yan nakikita ng iba. But if you feel like, if you want to answer by direct message, no problem. So that's correct. So carburetor exposed, no? So tatandaan niyo to, except, no? Alin daw dito ang hindi nagko-contribute sa conservation or protection or rehabilitation ng ating environment. So waste segregation is when you, of course, segregate your wastes from bio to non-biodegradable to recyclable. Okay? Energy conservation, no, when you do observe, for example, conserving energy, unplugging your appliances, etc. And of course, reforestation is when you replace the trees that you cut down or the plants that you cut down by planting new trees. Kaya nga, di ba, it's very important that we maintain reforestation, not only because we're protecting the natural habitat, no, ng ating mga flora and fauna. When we say flora again, we pertain to plants, and fauna we pertain to animals. So ano ba usually tinatanong din sa reforestation? Tinatanong yung ano, yung illegal activity na ginagawa wherein binaburn yung forest. How do we call that again? How do you call the practice of burning the forest or burning the trees in the forest? And then using that as a parang as a location for planting again. So that is kaingin farming. So tatandaan kung tinanong sa board exam, that is kaingin farming. Baka matanong. Okay? So naalala ko din, how do you call the pounding of corals? Natanong na rin to before. How do you call the illegal pounding of corals? You know, pinupukpok nila yung mga corals, hina-harvest nila yung mga corals. So kung kaingin farming sa forest, how do we call it? When people illegally pound and harvest these corals for commercial purposes. Ano na nga ulit yon? That is muro ami fishing. So tatandaan, no? So baka lang din matanong. So i-chat natin sa chat box. Muro ami fishing. Okay? So, yon. Okay? So next question. Ayan, yung carburetor, no? It's a device which helps in mixing fuel and air together for facilitating internal combustion inside an internal combustion engine. So it actually, what does it produce, no? Could produce tawag dito, smoke, no, that would pollute the air, no? So kaya nga may mga laws tayo on Clean Air Act as well as regulating, no, the use of tawag dito yung mga incinerators, no? Kasi nga 'di ba bawal na nga yung pagsusunog according to the RA 9003 on solid waste ecological management law. All right? So yeah, next. Chemical change in matter usually happens when the change in substance when A, the change in substance keeps its chemical identity, B, new substance are formed from the original substance, C, nuclear composition of an atom increases or decreases, or letter D, an atom has atomic mass but different atomic number. Anong sagot? A, B, C, or D? Yeah. By the way, all the questions, no, na nandito sa ating slide were actually previous board exam questions. Ayan. Baka kasi maulit, alam niyo naman si PRC, no? So they feel like repeating some of these questions, no? Malay niyo, lumabas na naman siya ngayong October 2022. Alright, I can see a lot of B's. Sige, tingnan natin kung tama. Yes, that's correct. New substances are formed from the original substance. So that is more of chemical change when there is an occurrence of new material or new substance. Okay. During the last review, parang sa Gen Ed Bio, parang nabanggit ko na rin yung tawag dito, mga phase transitions. Pero later, meron ako dito ang slide about it. So titignan naman natin. So tatandaan nyo, pag phase transitions, for example, solid to liquid, liquid to gas, gas to solid, lahat ng mga terms natin, yung mga processes natin na mababanggit doon ay under physical change only. Because it is just a change in the physical state, no? Or in the physical appearance. So in terms of appearance. So pag narinig nyo yung word na, mga words sa board exam na sublimation, freezing, condensation, melting, lahat ng to is under physical change. So wag kayong malilito, no? Medyo maganda siya sa pandinig. Sublimation, mukhang chemical change, but these are all physical change. Okay? So yon. And then I'd like to emphasize letter D. So an atom has same atomic mass but different atomic number. Pag tinanong ito sa board exam, how do you call an element with the same atomic number, ganun ang pagkakatanong, with the same atomic number but different atomic mass? Anong sagot? Letter I. Sige nga. Review natin, baka lumabas. Ulitin ko ha, an element with the same atomic number but different atomic mass. Lagi rin tong natatanong sa board exam, letter I, that is isotope. Correct, tama kayo. So these are isotopes. Tatandaan na, tulad ng for example carbon, di ba remember that carbon has an atomic number of 6, pero meron tayong carbon 12, okay, 13 and 14. Sir, kape lang po. Sure, sige. Yung mga gustong magkape, sige, you can make them love your kape. I have my water naman sa akin. So, iniwasan ko yung kape ngayon at nag-acid reflux ako. So anyway, so yun na, tatandaan nyo yun, isotope. Okay, ano pa bang tinatanong doon? Yun na lang muna. Baka later may mga question tayo. So ito no, nabanggit na natin, the chemical and physical changes. So for chemical change, a chemical reaction forms new products, no, new substances. So like for example, burning or combustion, rotting of fruits, ripening of fruits kasama. Oh, by the way, pag tinanong sa board exam, anong hormone ang responsible for ripening of fruit? Madalas din itanong to sa Gen Ed Science. Letter E. Sige, bibigyan ko kayo ng clue para lang ma-remember ninyo. Ano nga hormone yun? Sure ka ba dyan? Sige. Any other answer? Sige, by the way, safe space to ha. You can just guess, no? Walang problema. Okay, sige, I got it. Correct, that's ethylene. Pwede po bang pa-chat ng pangalan ni Vivo? Kasi parang nahihiwagaan ako sino yung Vivo dyan. Thank you po. Na-chat ko ba? Or na-delete ko? Ay, hindi ko pala na-chat. So that's the correct answer. So ethylene, no, is responsible. Okay. Hi, Maribel. Sorry. Sige. Hi. Sige. So, that's ethylene, no? So, it's actually a phytohormone. We call it phyto because it's a plant hormone responsible for the ripening of fruit. So, yun lang muna. Then, digestion and rusting. By the way, pag tinanong sa board exam, okay? The nail, for example, rusted, no? Kinalawang yung nail. What compound has been formed? Ano daw yung compound ba kasi na rust? So pag tinanong kayo, what is the chemical name for rust? Or ano yung rust sa Tagalog? Kalawang. Anong isasagot nyo? Pag tinanong, what chemical compound is present in rust? Because rust is basically a chemical compound known as iron. Ano na nga ulit yun na mayaman din sa surface ng Mars? Iron oxide. Tatandaan na baka lang din tanongin. So iron oxide. Sige, proceed tayo. With the physical change, so matter changes form but not chemical identity. It's just a transition to phase, gaya na sinabi ko sa inyo. Melting, evaporation, condensation, freezing, deposition, lahat yung mga shredding, chopping, boiling yan. These are all physical changes. Okay? So, tanong, nandito ang boiling, no? What is the boiling point of pure water in terms of Celsius? Sige nga. Ilan ang boiling point of water, no? This is a very basic question. That's correct, no? 100 degrees Celsius. How about the freezing point of pure water? Freezing point of pure water, ilan? That's correct, 0 degree Celsius. Pag ayaw ng degrees, for example, ni PRC, ano ang equivalent daw ng 0 degree Celsius to degree Fahrenheit? Sige nga. Sige nga, anong sagot? Ilan ang 0 sa Fahrenheit? So that's correct, 32 degree Fahrenheit. So tatandaan na, 0 degree Celsius is equivalent to 32 degree Fahrenheit. Okay? So next. Hindi natin kasi alam, no, sa ano kasi, sa elementary halos ano yan halos magkaiba yung sa Gen Ed Science nila sa secondary. Pero usually napapasadahan itong mga ganitong tanong. So minsan tawag dito, may mga very basic concept sa Gen Ed, both in bio and Phi-Sci na tinatanong. So tulad nito, no? When walking, you push against the ground pushes back to you is an application of the blank. A, law of interaction. B, law of inertia. C, law of acceleration. Or letter D, law of thermodynamics. Alright, we're 15 at the platform. Good evening po sa mga kapapasok and welcome to our Gen Ed Physical Science. Alright. Okay, sige. Ano ba ako? So I can see okay, law of interaction. So you can direct message me, you can you can tawag dito, answer via everyone if you want. So that's correct, no? So that is interaction. Kasi you're pushing against the ground and the ground pushes you back. So that's more of law of interaction. Pag tinanong naman sa board exam, the use of seatbelt is an application of what law? The use of seatbelt is what is an application of what law? A, B, C, or D? Okay, the answer is letter B, correct. That is inertia. Okay? Your resistance to the change in motion. Okay? So yan. Okay, next question. Ayan, no? So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So that is on in law of interaction. So for example, reaction recoil force on the gun and the action accelerating force of the bullet. The same, no? Reaction floor pushes up and forward while the action foot pushes down and back. Then boys' feet exert force on both, then both exerts force on feet. So basically there would, in every action, there would always be an equal and opposite reaction. Okay? Kaya nga, if your action, for example, di ba, balik tayo. If, for example, is your action is that you really exerted effort, no, in reviewing your for your board examination, then there will be a reaction, and that will be, you'll be able to pass and top the board exam. Okay? So next question, which layer of the atmosphere is closest to the Earth's surface? A, stratosphere, B, exosphere, C, troposphere, D, ionosphere. What's the answer? Layer of atmosphere, very basic to, no? In ano din, physical science, in terms of earth science in particular. Okay, pag Earth's surface, that is sa atmosphere, ano na nga ulit? Okay? Closest? Okay, of course, that is troposphere. So, yan yung pinaka closest to the Earth's surface. Where actually, troposphere, where actually your weather and climate occurs, diba? And then, okay, sige nga, review nga natin yung mga layers ng atmosphere natin. Ito, diba? So, that's the nearest to the Earth's surface, no? Troposphere, kaya nandyan yung weather and climate. So, pag tinanong din kayo sa board exam, where most water vapor, for example, is found, nandyan din yan sa troposphere. Kasi nga, it's more of our weather and climate. Okay? Then stratosphere, dito banda, no? Diyan nyo naman makikita ang ating, ano na nga ulit makikita sa stratosphere natin. Okay. Katuturo mo pala ito. So ano makikita na napakahalagang layer sa stratosphere? So what's that layer again, which protects us from the danger of ultraviolet rays of the sun? We call it the, anong meron sa stratosphere? Ozone layer. So tatandaan, ozone layer, stratosphere. We can find ozone layer in stratosphere. So ano na nga ulit yung formula ng ozone? If oxygen molecule is O2, ozone is O, kalimutan na ba? O3. Okay? So yan. Then mesosphere, pag nakita nyo sa board exam, saan makikita yung shooting star, yung meteor shower sa mesosphere yan. Okay? So this is where you can find the mesosphere. So pag tinanong sa board exam, shooting star is actually in what layer of the atmosphere, can be seen in what layer of the atmosphere, that is mesosphere. And then you have the thermosphere and the exosphere. So we can use mnemonics, no, to remember that, no? So for example, trust me in the exam. Okay? So trust would of course pertain to troposphere, then ST is stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. Since exam kayo, okay, kailangan meron kayong pinagkakatiwalaan. Okay? So who are you trusting in the exam? Of course, we actually devote, no, our exam for his greater glory. All right? So, tatandaan, trust me, and the exam. Okay? Of course, with ano yun, action. Okay? So, the history of the Earth has been divided by scientists into eras. Which of the following shows the arrangement of these eras into proper sequence from the oldest to the most recent? Apat lang naman yan. Precambrian, Paleozoic, Mesozoic, Cenozoic. Sige, saan dyan? A, B, C, or D? Sige nga. Kung natatandaan nyo pa. I can see I can see A's here. Okay. All right, sige. So the answer, of course, is letter A. Precambrian, no? So that's the oldest, Precambrian. Okay, then Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic. So Cenozoic is the recent era. Okay? Okay, Mesozoic is the middle life, then Paleozoic, Precambrian is the earlier life. Okay? So ayan, the Precambrian, Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic as part of our geologic or biogeologic time scale. Okay? So ayan. So pwede kayong gumamit ng ano dito, ng mnemonics, no? For example, please pay my children. Okay. Ayan. So, andyan yung Precambrian, Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic. Okay? So, ayan. Okay? Alam niyo na yan. Because it will adversely affect the population's food supplies, the most disadvantageous source of energy is land. A, wind. B, geothermal. C, sun. D, plants. Alin kaya ang disadvantageous source of energy? Kasi ang maaapektuhan nito ay source ng pagkain ng mga organism. Okay? Okay, hello po sa aso. Alright. Sige. Okay, so I can see a lot of these. Alright, sige. That's correct, no? So plants Oh, sige, tanong ko kayo, anong klaseng energy ang meron sa plants? What type of energy do plants give off? Sige nga, pag yun naman yung tanong ng board exam. Glucose, actually, yes. That's actually the product, no? Tama naman yan. But specifically, ano kaya yung energy na yun that we can harness? Letter B. Okay, kasama nung other, this can be a combination, no? So, tinatawag na ano na nga? Sige, type natin sa chat box. Remember the biomass energy. Alright, so biomass energy, no? So, yes, that's correct. So, wind energy, meron din naman tayo, but not really, on the food supply. Geothermal, no, from the Earth's structure, no? And of course, the sun or the solar energy, the radiant energy, or the light energy. Okay? So, ayan, yung biomass energy is energy generated or produced by living or once living organism. The most common use are plants, no, especially corn and the soil. So energy from these organisms can be burned to create heat or converted into electricity. But this is somewhat disadvantageous since the food supply can be scarce, no? Can actually lead to very low or small supplies. Okay. Next question. The world's largest ecosystem of deserts is blank. A, Antarctica. B, Sahara. C, Kalahari. D, Gobi. What's the answer? I can see A here. I can see a lot of A's. Sige. So, the world's largest ecosystem of desert is correct. That is Antarctica. Since, remember that desert is not always hot. There is also cold desert, diba? Dry, sabi na, this is always dry, no? But not always cold and not always hot. So, pag tinanong din, pag other question, sa board exam, how do we call the largest cold desert? That is Antarctica. But for the largest hot desert, that is Sahara. Okay? So tatandaan. And you know very well that desert is one no, of the example, no, of our ecosystem where biotic and abiotic factors interact. Okay? So next. Ayan, no? So these are our Earth's 10 largest deserts. You can see there the Sahara, no? And then the Antarctic polar or the Antarctica here. Okay, we also have the Arctic polar there, the Great Victoria, the Kalahari, the Gobi here, no? Great Basin, Patagonian, etc. Okay, so these are just question. Basic question, no, sa Gen Ed Science din. How many continents do we have? Sige nga, pakilagay nyo nga sa chat box. How many continents do we have? Pag yun yung tanong ng board, ang sasagot natin. Ilang kontinente meron ng mundo? Okay, parang nawawala ako. Ayan, meron sumagot. Sige. That's correct, no? Na-delay lang. 7. How about oceans? How many oceans do we have in the world? These are basic questions. Hindi na natin isa-isa yung mga continents. I'm just asking for the number. Okay, that's correct. We have 5 ocean. Question, tinanong na rin ton sa board exam. How do you call the supercontinent? How do you call the supercontinent? I-ready ko rin sa chat box. Yan, tinatanong din yan sa board exam. The supercontinent muna. Okay, we call it the Pangea, right? And then nahati siya, no, sa dalawa, 'di ba? Yung iyong ano na ngayon, Eurasia and Gondwana land. So doon papasok here. Okay? So yan. Yun lang muna. Yun lang naman usual tinatanong. Okay? Yes, correct. No, it's a supercontinent. Kasi afterwards, ano siya, di ba? Nag-undergo. No? Yun ang ano na yan. Okay. Which of the following is a measure of pressure, pressure defined as 1 Newton per square meter? A, light years. B, milliliter. C, joule. D, Pascal. Ito very ano rin to, laging tinatanong. So, alam na alam niyo dapat yan. Correct, no? So that's letter, what? Letter D, diba? Pascal. So basically, Pascal is a unit of measure for pressure. Question, pressure na ba kayo ngayon? Pressured na ba kayo? Ilang days na lang, no, board exam na, no? I hope tawag dito, ma-manage natin yung anxiety natin and you'll be able to have a clear mind, no, during your examination. Kasi pag super kinakabahan tayo, you know, the higher tendency to have a mental state or mental block, no? And I hope that won't happen. That won't happen. Okay? So light years naman is actually distance, no, light travels in 1 year. So usually we use this in astronomy, no, in terms of the distance that stars, for example, and other celestial bodies, light travels in a year. Then milliliter, of course, is unit for volume. Joule is for work or energy, while Pascal is for pressure. Okay? Next question. By the way, pag tinanong sa board exam, ng mga basic units, ito lang yun. For example, tinanong, the basic unit of time, second. The basic unit of length, meter. The basic unit of mass, kilogram, not gram, kilogram. The basic unit for electric current, ampere. The basic unit for temperature, Kelvin, not Celsius, not Fahrenheit. The basic unit of amount of substance, mole. Okay, amount of substance ito, mole. Then the basic unit of luminous intensity, candela. But usually tinatanong length, mass, or temperature. Okay, so itong tatlo. So isama mo na rin yung time. Okay? So basically, these are some basic units. Remember your fundamental units, di ba? We have 7 basic, no, units. The rest are derived quantities. These are what we call the 7 fundamental quantities. The rest are derived quantities. Okay? Milk is classified as blank, a colloid, the acid, a metalloid, the soda. One of the ano rin to, favorite question, no, in the board exam, Gen Ed. Okay? So that's correct, no? So letter A is the answer. Question, paano naman pag sinabi dito, alloy is classified as blank? Suspension, solution, or colloid? Okay? Ano naman yan? Pag alloy, sige, sulat natin sa board, sa chat box. Alloy, ano ba ang alloy? Is it a suspension, solution, or colloid? Sige nga, can you answer that in the chat box? Yun yung tanong. For example, gold alloy is classified as blank. Bakit wala akong nakitang sagot? Nakalimutan na? Okay, pag nakakita kayo ng alloy ng sagot, that is solution, ha? Tatandaan, solution is the answer. Okay, so it's not suspension, it's not colloid. So hindi ba siya compound? No, it's a mixture of metals under solution. Okay? So, di ba, remember, these are types of mixture. Pag solution, uniformly mixed, no? Kagaya, for example, ano yung tinatanong lagi nila pag solution? So, pag nakita sa board exam yung word na brine, at pinaka-classify sa inyo, ano ba to? Solution, suspension, or colloid, ano isasagot nyo sa brine? Suspension, solution, or colloid? Hindi ko alam kung yung signal ko or hindi kayo sumasagot. Sige. So pag brine okay, solution, 'di ba? So ano ba yung brine? So pag nakita sa board exam ano yung brine, that is salt plus water. Okay? Tatandaan 'yan. Ano pa tinatanong? Pag suspension, usually yan yung halo-halo, chop suey, yan mga suspension yan kasi you can actually see, no, the components of the mixture and you can actually physically and manually separate it. While colloid tulad ng milk, usually may meron siyang tinatawag na Tyndall effect. No? Although pwede yan sa both colloid and suspension, pero usually due to colloidal effect, yung Tyndall effect. Kaya for example, 'di ba? Pag nagpagpag ka for example ng basahan and then there's a beam of light, makikita mo yung mga particles. So we actually see it as part of the Tyndall effect. Okay? So next. Ayan, tapos na natin yan. Okay. Ano pala yun, no? Tyndall effect is the scattering of light by particles in a color-defined suspension. So pag nakita sa board exam, ano yung Tyndall effect? Ito yun, scattering of light. Dahil dun sa colloidal or fine suspension particles. So sugar plus water that can be considered as a solution. Colloid is actually a milk, no? Example of colloid I mean is milk, and then suspension we also have your flour water, your, for example, halo-halo, for example, your chop suey, no, ganyan. So examples including the scattering of light by milk or suspension of flour and water that can be considered as a Tyndall effect. Okay, so next question, how many phases of the moon are there in 1 month? A4, B8, C6, D10. Natanong to 2021, then 2019. Yan, very basic question. Ang sagot, of course, the answer is letter B, no, 8. No? So there are 8 phases of the moon. Okay, so we have here the new moon, no? Okay, then waning crescent, third quarter, new moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, the full moon, waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent. Question. Tinatanong din sa board exam yung phase ng moon during eclipses. Okay, tanong. During solar eclipse, ano ang phase ng moon? Okay? During solar eclipse, ano ang phase ng moon? New moon or full moon? Pag solar eclipse, new moon or full moon? Okay, tinatanong yan. So, Gen Ed. Okay. I'm receiving responses via direct message. Sige. So actually, kapag solar eclipse, that is correct. That is new moon. Pag naman lunar eclipse, that is full moon. Okay? So pag lunar, full moon. Pag solar, new moon. So tatandaan. Okay? So that's correct. So those who answered via private message. Okay? So next, which of the following travels fastest in air? So ito yung kaninang tanong natin, no, during the first question. Is it A, moonbeam, B, light, C, thunder, D, current? Which of the following travels fastest in air? A, B, C, or D? Okay. I can see B, I can see C. Okay. Okay, that's correct, no? So that is basically the light. So sinabi kanina natin, light travels fastest through air or vacuum pag walang air, pag walang vacuum air, while sound travels fastest in solid. That's correct, okay? So the speed of light, no? So in 1926, Albert Michelson first measured the speed of light. So basically, light travels fast through empty space at the speed of about 300 million meters per second. So light travels through air almost as fast through an empty space, but it travels more slowly through liquids and even slower still through solid. It takes light for 8.3 minutes to get from the sun to the earth. Usually, natatandaan nyo, no? Baka lang din maitanong ito, kapag ba, for example, nanggagaling mula sa araw, ilang minuto pag makarating sa Earth, that is 8.3 minutes. So a light year is not a measure of time, but it is actually a measure of distance. So usually may tanong na, which of the following is true about light year? So it's not a measure of time, it's a measure of distance. So tatandaan. Okay, question. How do you call the study of light? Ano na nga ulit yung study of light? Letter O. Ulit natin. Ano na nga yun? That is what we call the optics, no? Study of light. While the study of sound is what we call letter A. That is acoustics. Now, study of sound is acoustics. Okay? So next, light travels fastest. Yan, paulit-ulit tayo. Pero sige, A, water, B, air, C, liquid, D, vacuum. Another version to ng question na to. Ayan. Kasi usually, pinagpapalit-palit yan ni PRC. Of course, the answer is letter. Okay, between air and the vacuum, we will choose vacuum. Pag may vacuum sa pagpipilian, that is fastest, no? Compared to that of the air. Okay? So yan, no? So for example, dito sa vacuum, no, napakabilis, 186,000 miles compared to water, to glass, and even to diamond. Right? Next, which of the following has the smallest mass when measured in an equal arm balance? A, 1/2 sheet of pad paper. B, 1/4 sheet of pad paper. C, 1/8 sheet of pad paper. D, 1/3 sheet of pad paper. Yeah. Ano naman yan? Kapag nakita to sa board exam ulit, no? Kasi baka itanong to ulit. So that is, syempre, in terms of fraction, ang pinakamaliit dyan is, that's correct. I can see a lot of C's. That's correct. 1/8 sheet of pad paper. So if you're going to compare, no, their sizes via this visual representation, you can see that 1/8 is very, very small. So it is actually the lightest if this will be measured. Okay. So next question. Which of the following is the correct name for the compound manganese fluoride? Okay. A, manganese fluoride 3, B, manganese 1 fluoride 3, C, manganese 3 fluoride, letter D, manganese 3 fluoride 3. What's the answer? I can see letter C, 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 C. Okay, very good, no? The very basic question. You just have to cross multiply. So manganese 3, because the subscript here is the number of fluorine atom is 3. Just get it. So Mn3F, no? So that is manganese 3 fluoride. So this is when naming ionic compounds. So gaya ng mga to. Okay? So we have nickel phosphate, iron iodide, manganese fluoride, chromium chloride, sodium cyanide, and copper sulfide. So you just have to cross multiply. Since nickel here, okay, yung corresponding polyatomic ion niya has an tawag dito, has a subscript of 2, we'll just put nickel 2. Then iron 2 here, manganese 3, chromium 2. Then here you have to just write sodium cyanide, and here copper 2 sulfur. Okay? Ayan. Okay, next. Which of the following statements best explain in why copper is the metal most widely used in electrical wiring? A, it is best conductor of electricity. B, it is cheaper than aluminum. C, it is better conductor than aluminum and cheaper than silver. Or letter D, it has high resistance to electricity. Best explain, sabi. Bakit siya ginagamit for electrical wiring? So halos pare-parehong tama, no? Pero we're looking for the best answer, and I can see a lot of C's. So that is letter C, it is better conductor than aluminum and cheaper than silver. Okay? Question, what is the atomic symbol for copper? Can you put it in the chat box? Ano nga yung atomic symbol niya? Chemical symbol. That's correct. So, Cu, no? That means cuprum. How about aluminum? What's the symbol for aluminum? Okay, that's correct. How about silver? Sige, silver. Okay, that's correct. No? So, alam niyo na yan. Very good. So, next, when you carry a heavy load, okay, with one arm, you tend to hold your free hand away from your body in order to blank. A, change the weight of your body and load. B, change the mass of your body. C, be ready to grab something in case you fall. Or letter D, change the center of gravity of your body and the load. Something to do with lifting, no? Carrying heavy objects. So I can see these, all right. Are you sure? Of course, that is letter D, no? To change the center of gravity of your body and the load so that it will not be very difficult for you to carry that particular material or that particular tawag dito load. Okay? So basically, you tend to hold your free arm outstretched, no, to switch the center of gravity of your body away from the load so that your combined center of gravity will more easily be above the base of support. To really help matters, divide the load into two if possible and carry half in each hand or carry the load on your it. No, sometimes makikita natin, no, pero yung mga una, no, nakakita ko yung mga unang mga naglalako sa ulo nila, no, parang ako naman nahihirapan ako. Pero usually pag nakikita ko sila, meron pang parang towel dito para hindi din siguro masakit yung sa ulo nila. Yung mga nagtitinda, yung mga naglalako, no. But usually yung mga nag-iigib, no, so they tend to stretch, no, their free arm out, no, horizontally. Okay? So next, which explains why work is done when blowing a balloon. When blowing a balloon. A, the balloon moves outward as the blowing force is exerted on it. B, the force of gravity on the balloon increases. C, the balloon has potential energy which is changed to kinetic energy. Or letter D, the balloon is filled with air which has weight and occupies space. Pag yung nakita sa board, A, B, C, or D. Mm-hmm. Mamaya na ako magre-reply. So medyo mahirap ata ang tanong. No? I only received one response. So tingnan nga natin what's the answer here. That's correct. Letter A. The balloon moves outward as the blowing force is exerted on it. Ayan. So medyo yung iba B. It's okay, no? So ayan. So it moves outward as the blowing force is exerted on it. So basically, for the balloon, no, so you are applying a force to a distance, or work is equal to force times distance. Okay. Remember that a work will not actually occur or transpire without distance. There should be a movement, no, in the same direction. So your diaphragm muscles push the air out of your lungs into the balloon. So this is the force, and the balloon expands outward, and that particularly is the distance. So the force and distance are both in the same direction, and so there is a work in blowing a balloon. Okay? So yan. Question. Balik ako dito. Ay, naiba na. Sabi. Meron akong nakita dito na terms, no? So, baka lumabas din to sa board exam nyo, Gen Ed, lalo si BEd. Potential and kinetic energy. Sabihin nyo nga sa akin kung potential or kinetic. Sige, so chat nyo lang potential or kinetic. When you see energy in motion, potential or kinetic? Sige nga. Drill lang yan. Okay, that is in motion, kinetic. How about moving energy? Moving energy. Potential or kinetic? Ganun din, syempre, binago ko lang. No? Kinetic pa rin yun. No? How about energy at rest? Nakita sa board, energy at rest. That is your potential. Kaya nga naka-rest eh, di ba? Uy, may potential ka. Gamitin mo naman, di ba? You should naka-rest lang yan. Kaya potential, no? Paano naman kapag stored energy? Uy, potential ka maging top-notcher. Make sure tama yung sagot mo sa chat box. Ayun. Ayan. Stored, no? Potential is stored energy. So, yun lang naman, no? Just in case. Okay, sige. Uy, galing nyo sa board. Okay, next. Apparently, the loss of weight of objects immersed in a fluid is due to blank. A, Archimedes' principle. B, Newton's theory. C, specific gravity. D, buoyant force. What's the answer? Okay. Loss of weight of objects immersed in a fluid. Diba? Medyo ano siya, parang hirap lang pang majorship ng physical science. Natanong na to sa Gen Ed. Okay? Kapag yan nakita nyo sa board exam, okay, ang sasagot ay, yes, that's correct. The buoyant force. Diba? Kaya nga usually, diba, yung mga mabibigat na object without water, mas medyo gumagaan siya pag nasa tubig. So, it's because of the buoyant force. Okay? Ayan. So, the buoyant force actually, no, is the upward force exerted on an object wholly or partly immersed in a fluid. So buoyancy naman is the tendency of a body to float or to rise when submerged in a fluid. So buoyancy, so a property, no, of a matter to float or to rise. Iba naman yung sa surface tension. Remember, the capacity of the water strider or insects or mosquito to walk through the water is what we call, ano naman yun? Ano na ang tawag doon? Kapag nakakagapang daw yung mga insects, sa ibabaw ng water, yung mga water strider, yung mga mosquito, nakakalutang yung toothpick nyo, yung paper clip nyo. It's not buoyancy ha, it's surface tension because of the water film. Okay, so tatandaan, huwag kayo makakonfuse doon. Okay, so next, which process occurs when dry ice, no, carbon dioxide, solid carbon dioxide, is changed into gaseous carbon dioxide? A, evaporation. B, sublimation. C, condensation. D, decomposition. Anong sagot? Okay, parang inartehan lang yung tanong, pero basically ito lang yan. From solid to gas. O, ano yun? O, how do you call the phase transition from solid to gas? Siyempre, that is sublimation. That's correct. Apart from dry ice. By the way, nakakita na ba yung dry ice? Usually ito yung sa mga ano, 'di ba? Sa mga beverage o kaya sa mga ice cream, ayan, dry ice. Usually hindi mo wala kang makikitang liquid water doon or water no or melting. Direct siya magiging gaseous carbon dioxide, which is from from solid to gas, that is sublimation. Okay? Oh, 'di ba? Yes, sa concert. Yan. Meron din ata si ginagamit doon, mga ganyan, para lang for an effect. Question. Apart from dry ice, ano pa yung kilala nating nagsusublime? Can you put in the chat box one material pa na alam nyo nagsusublime? Na tinatanong din to, no? Mostly tinatanong din to sa board exam. Letter M or letter N? Ano yun, nagsusublime na yun, na nilalagay nyo sa damitan ninyo? Yes, that's your mothball or naphthalene ball. So pag nakita to, it does not melt, it does sublime. No? Nagsusublime ito. Okay? Evaporation is, ano na nga ito, from liquid to gas, di ba? From liquid, for example, liquid water, ma-evaporate siya, magiging water vapor. Usually ito, this is part of the water cycle. Other name for water cycle, hydrologic cycle, kung nakita sa board exam. Condensation naman is from gas to liquid. Kabaliktaran naman siya ng evaporation. Liquid to gas, evaporation. Gas to liquid, condensation. Kaya ano nangyayari? Pag gas, usually water vapor, magiging liquid water, iuulan niya. Okay? After condensation, anong susunod? Precipitation. Diba? So, natatandaan niyo ba yung water cycle? Evaporation, condensation, then precipitation. Okay? Decomposition, nagkamali lang siguro din ng topology si PRC dito, pero siguro ang gusto niyo sabihin dito is deposition. That's another phase transition. Paano naman yung deposition? Deposition is from gas to solid naman. So usually pag water vapor, di ba hindi lahat ng precipitation ay liquid water. May mga precipitation na snow, hail, sleet, mga solid. So ang root word deposition, deposit from gas to solid. So nadideposit siya sa surface. So that is deposition. Okay? I hope clear sa inyo to. These are all phase transition. Andito pala ito. Sige. So ayan, explain ko lang briefly from solid to liquid, yung solid magiging liquid, syempre matutunaw. We call it melting. Then from liquid to solid, kabaliktaran, freezing. Yung tubig nilagay mo sa freezer, syempre magsa-solidify, that's freezing. Nasabi ko na to, from gas to solid, no? Okay? That is deposition, from solid to gas, yun yung kanina. Sublimation, like your naphthalene, your mothball, your dry ice. Then liquid to gas, that is evaporation. Other name for evaporation, vaporization. Pag wala kang nakitang evaporation, vaporization. Then from gas to liquid, that is condensation. Ito kasi, pag tinanong sa board exam, how do you call the fourth state of matter? Ang isasagot ninyo ay plasma. Fourth state of matter is plasma. So pag plasma to gas, that is recombination. From gas to plasma, ionization. Hindi na to masyadong tinatanong, no? Usually sa majorship na to. Pero yung fourth state of matter, tinatanong yun lagi. Okay? Baka lang din masample. You know, PRCs is sampling questions, especially for Gen Ed. So dami, no, ng pwedeng tanongin. At least, mas maraming alam, mas maganda. Okay? So from ice to water, no? So that is part of our enthalpy, where during any chemical reaction, heat can either be taken in from the environment or released out into it. So the heat exchange between a chemical reaction in its environment is known as the enthalpy of reaction. So pag there is a heat exchange, between a chemical reaction, we call it as the enthalpy of reaction. just in case. Okay, so how are bots able to navigate in the dark without bumping into anything? A, they emit sound waves whose returning vibration can detect the presence of objects. B, they are able to fluoresce in the dark or magkaroon ng light. C, they have supersonic eyesight, or letter D, they can disappear. Okay? So nilagay ko na to sa ano no sa physical science, although meron siyang pagka-biophysical since we're talking about bots here. So the answer is of course letter A, hindi dahil because mahaba siya, but because really it emits sound waves whose returning vibration can detect the presence of object. All right, so I can see a lot of A, so that's correct. Okay, how do you call the manure from bats that can be used as fertilizer? Yung tae nito, yung tae ng mga bats. Letter G, starts with letter G. Baka tanongin yan sa Gen Ed Social Science, no? Kasi bahagi din yan ng ano, di ba? Dito, yung mga sources of organic fertilizers. Ayan, so we call it guano. That's correct. So yan lang naman. Next, the source of water pollution is when water from a river is mixed with the contents of a septic tank. This is called blank. A, water condensation. B, hypertrophication. C, estivation. D, none of the above. There is a water pollution, then the water from a river is mixed with the content of that of the septic tank. So we call it, that's correct, hypertrophication. Okay, hypertrophication. Again, water condensation, that is from gas to liquid, while estivation is the summer, okay, the summer sleep no, of organisms or animals. So pag summer sleep, estivation, pag winter sleep, ano na yung winter sleep? Hibernation. Okay? So hibernation, winter sleep. Estivation, summer sleep. Usually ito to, preserve the energy no, of these organisms. So kapag winter, no, taglamig, hibernation. Nag-hibernate yung mga animals. Kapag tag-init, nag-estivate sila. Okay? So next, ayan, eutrophication. Nabanggit ko ito, I think, sa Gen Ed Bio natin. Excessive richness no, ng nutrients sa mga lawa or other bodies of water no, dahil sa runoff from the land, which causes a dense growth of plant life and death of animal from lack of oxygen. Kasi ang nangyayari, there's a presence of a lot of algae na dideplete yung oxygen, and so mamamatay yung mga fishes. And so bababa ang sea harvest. So usually ang tinatanong sa board exam, what is the effect of eutrophication? Diminished sea harvest. Pagbaba ng huli sa dagat. Okay? Hypertrophication occurs when human water pollution speeds up the aging process no, by introducing sewage, detergents, fertilizer, and other nutrient sources in the ecosystem. Sa question natin, ang naging source is yung septic tank. So that is hypertrophication. Okay? Next. What element has Ca as its symbol? Ito yung mga pabigay na tanong no, sa Gen Ed. Favorite kasi nila tong element na to. Okay, laging tinatanong to. So anong sagot? A, calcium, B, cadmium, C, carbon, D, Californium. Of course, the answer is, okay, that is calcium. That's correct, no? Ayan, that's correct. Letter A is the answer. Okay? So, calcium yan yun. No? How about CD? That is cadmium. How about C? That is carbon. And CF, that is your Californium. Okay? So next, ayan, sige, any question? Okay, next. Which of the following human activities reduces the level of ozone in the atmosphere? A, using large banks of solar cells for energy production. B, using artificial lighting and scientific polar stations. C, releasing of fluorocarbons from aerosol cans. D, destroying large areas of the equatorial rainforest. I can see a lot of C's here. Okay, that's correct, no? So releasing no of fluorocarbons no from aerosol cans. Kaya pinagbawal talaga yung mga air conditioner, mga refrigerator na may mga CFCs or the fluorocarbon. So pinagbawal yun because it actually deplete no the ozone layer. So pag na-deplete ang ozone layer, magkakaroon to ng butas, and then of course the UV radiation will be a free di ba magkakaroon ng mga ano dyan, we might not know no yung sa ozone yung UV radiation, kung na-filter ba to ng ozone layer o hindi. Yan. So, pinagbawal yan. And luckily naman, yung mga CFCs ngayon, mga refrigerator and mga air condition, mga CFC free na siya. So, how chlorofluorocarbons affect the atmosphere? Ayan. Substances like CFCs deplete ozone layer. Binubutas niya yan. Okay, so the harmful UV rays reach the Earth's surface that would affect us, and other organisms. Okay, so ayan. So, napaka-importante ng ozone layer sa ating atmosphere na matatagpuan saan ulit? Sa stratosphere because it absorbs UV radiation. Okay? So next, air, like food and water, is an essential element in human existence. Carried with the wind, polluted air, cold blank, falls to earth, poisoning fish, and destroying vegetation. A, El Nino. B, La Nina. C, greenhouse rain. D, acid rain. So what is the answer? That is correct. Okay, correct, no? So that is actually acid rain. So tatandaan, no? So this actually falls to earth, no? That could poison the fish and could destroy also the vegetation. Okay? Ayan. So could actually kill, no? Trees can be killed, no, by acid rain and could actually also kill some aquatic organism. Okay? So pag sinabi namang El Nino and La Nina, usually for El Nino, unusually warm ocean, no, temperature in the equatorial Pacific wherein there are fewer rains, kaya siya tinatawag ding tagtuyot, no? So fewer tropical cyclones in the Philippine area of responsibility than less intense tropical cyclone. While La Nina is unusually cold ocean temperature in the equatorial Pacific, then wetter than normal, so sobrang tag-ulan naman to. Sobrang ano naman siya, no? Basa, no? More tropical cyclones in the part and more tropical cyclones will make landfall. All right? So question, the Kyoto Protocol, which requires countries to reduce greenhouse emission, is a practice that advocates blank, a sustainable potential, B, ecological destruction, C, forest demolition, D, environmental protection. So of course, that's very easy question. Almost lagi ring lumalabas. Baka lumabas ulit ngayong October 2022. So that is environmental protection. So tama kayo, no? Letter D. So it's actually towards environmental protection when we reduce our greenhouse emissions. Okay, that's correct. Thank you so much. So ayan, no? So ayan, no? So in February 16 and 2005, no, the Kyoto Protocol was signed and ratified by 192 countries. Okay? Ayan. Okay? So next. So besides solids, liquids, and gas, what is the fourth of matter? Oh, sinabi ko na yan kanina. What's the answer? Is it gel? Is it colloid? Is it foam? Or is it plasma? Of course, it's very easy. That is letter D. Correct. Plasma. Question. How do you call the liquid portion of the blood? How do you call the liquid portion of the blood? Pakisulat nga sa chat box. Pag yun naman yung tanong sa Gen Ed Science, liquid portion of the blood. Ang sagot ay ano? Plasma. Okay, pero iba yung plasma na liquid portion ng blood sa plasma na fourth state of matter. Kasi itong fourth state of matter na to, ito yung mga component ng mga stars, mga lightning, yan. So, yung liquid portion ng blood, we call it the blood plasma. Okay? So, that's two different things. Okay? So, ayan, no? So, we have here the solid, the liquid, the gas, and the plasma. Okay? Ayan. So, plasma. So, basically, hindi lang naman, no, apat yung states of matter. We also have the fifth, no, and the sixth one. Okay? The Bose-Einstein condensate and the fermionic condensate. Baka lang itanong, pero usually for major shift to, but at least alam natin the three states of matter plus the fourth one, which is plasma. And then kung gusto nating dagdagan, no, i-level up yung ating knowledge about states of matter, we can also teach sa mga estudyante natin Bose-Einstein condensate and fermionic condensate. So usually to, made up of bosons are social with each other in groups or clans. Usually, sobrang super cool, no? Super cold. Fermionic condensates are anti-solar. They don't attract each other at all. Okay, usually, meron itong mga tawag dito, non-attractant na mga and usually, these are done inside a laboratory. Okay? So, which of these characterizes organic compounds? A, there are compounds of any element. B, they cannot be broken down to simpler substances. C, they always require electrical means to separate. Or letter D, there are compounds containing hydrocarbon. Okay? So pag organic compounds, di ba lagi nating naririnig organic, inorganic, no? So pag organic compound, no? Of course, so these are compounds no containing hydrocarbon. Question. Pakisabi nga kung organic and inorganic, water molecule. Organic or inorganic? Water molecule. Okay, actually, it's inorganic. H2O, no? H2O. So, not carbon-based. So, that is inorganic. So, pag nakita sa board exam, what is this inorganic compound known as the universal solvent or excellent solvent? Ang isasagot nyo is water. Okay? Tatandaan. Okay, next. So, this is a hydrocarbon, no? Compound containing only hydrogen and carbon, like the methane, ethane, ethene. Yan. So, this is more of your biochemistry. Chemistry. Okay? Which type of reaction does the general equation AB plus energy is equal to A plus B show? A, endothermic synthesis, B, exothermic decomposition, C, exothermic synthesis, or letter D, endothermic decomposition. Okay, so AB, buo, then nahiwalay. Naging A, nahiwalay yung A sa B, no? So pag ganon, tatanggalin na natin yung, alin ang tatanggalin na natin dyan, yung, dahil nahiwalay, so this is means it actually, in terms of decomposition. So tanggalin na natin A and C, so between B and D, anong sagot? Of course, that is letter endothermic decomposition. Bakit siya endothermic decomposition, no? Endothermic requires energy. Okay? Nandito siya, plus energy. So, endothermic requires energy. Okay? Ito tatandaan. Okay? Ayan. So, these are the different types of chemical reactions. So, pag A plus B nag-combine, synthesis or combination. Pag AB, gaya ng example natin, then naging A plus B, that is decomposition. Pag single replacement, A plus BC equals to AC plus B. Isa lang yung napalitan. Pag double, nagkapilit-palit yung dalawa. A plus B, AB plus CD is equal to AD plus CD. Okay, then combustion reaction usually with the presence of oxygen. Okay, so tatandaan niya. Okay. Okay, so next, which element has Te at its symbol? A, terbium, B, tellurium, C, titanium, D, technetium. Very easy question. Of course. Okay, so that is, parang hindi ba kayo sigurado? Okay, that is tellurium. Okay, tellurium is, okay, so Ti, ano yung Ti? That is titanium. Tc, that is technetium. Te, of course, your tellurium, and Tb is your terbium. So these are some of the elements in the periodic table. Question, ilan ang elements? Total elements sa periodic table. Sige nga, pakilagay nyo nga sa chat box. How many elements do we have in total? So the answer is 118 elements. Tatandaan na. Okay, tatandaan. Okay, question. Who is considered to be the father of periodic table of elements? Baka itanong sa board exam. Sino na? Ang father of periodic table of elements. Kasi mahilig din si PR sa mga father eh. That's correct, no? Dmitry Ivanovich Mendeleev. Pwedeng Mendeleev or Mendeleev, no? Depending, iba-iba yung spelling minsan yan. Okay, so this question, what is the maximum number of electrons that can occupy a p orbital? A6, B10, C18, B14. Yes, no, I can see. Pasta spelling. Okay, so yung iba, hindi sigurado, may question mark ang sagot, okay lang yan. So that is actually 6. So tatandaan ha, letter A is the answer, letter A. So again, ganito lang yan, no? Okay, meron tayo, di ba? Nilagay ko ba rito? Ayan, nilagay ko dito. Meron tayong 4 blocks, no? We call it the S block, the P, the D, and the F block. So pag S block, ito yon, yung first and second group natin or family. So 1S1, 2S2. So hindi ko na masyadong ini-advance ha. Pero sige, 2, ito, the S block, and then ito yung P block natin. So kung bibilangin yung S block, 1, 2. So pag dinanong sa board exam, how many is the maximum electrons that can hold, that S orbital can hold? Ang sagot, 2. Pag P block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So kaya pag P, 6 electrons. So tatandaan. Then D, 10. Then F, 14. Again, S2, P, P6, D10, F14. So ano yung tinatanong dyan, sir? Tinatanong dyan yung maximum number of electrons. So kapag tinanong the maximum number of electrons ng S, 2, P6, D10, F14. Okay? Yun lang, hindi ko na kayo pa electronic configuration. Okay? So next, a toothpick can fit on the surface of water due to A, surface tension, B, buoyancy, C, viscosity, D, atmospheric pressure. Of course, that is letter, yes, alam na natin yan. Surface tension. Due to surface tension. Ayan, surface tension, where actually insects, toothpick, paper clip can actually walk through or pass through or float because of the film. Then atmospheric pressure, no, it's actually the pressure no in the atmosphere. Viscosity naman is the measure of a fluid's resistance to flow. So pag nakita yung tubig, no, nagbuhos ka ng tubig, very low ang kanyang viscosity kasi pag tinapon mo yung tuloy-tuloy yung pag-flow ng water. Pero kapag for example yung honey tinapon mo, no, o kaya nag-flow siya, napakabagal because it has higher viscosity. No? So pag viscosity, the fluid's resistance to flow. Baka matanong to as property of matter. Okay? And then of course, your buoyancy or the capacity or tendency of a matter or material to rise or float. So we have the buoyant force, kanina na natanong natin, that which tends to lessen no, the weight of the material. Okay? So which of the following statement is true of nuclear fission? A, the energy process is identical to which occurs in the sun. The energy is obtained by getting nucleus of the atoms to break up to split. C, after the lighter atoms are changed into energy. Or letter D, scientists can combine lighter atoms to form heavier atoms. So ano kaya dito? Yung fission. Okay? So for example, yung nucleus, magkakaroon ng nuclear fission, ang mangyayari? Okay? Yeah. So magkakaroon no, ng pag-split. So pag nakita nyo to break up to split, that is the answer, nuclear fission. Pag fusion, magbi-build up naman siya or magko-combine. Okay? So pag fusion, combination, pag fission, breaking up or split. So this is also true no sa mga bacteria, nagkakaroon din sila ng fission. Binary fission naman ang term doon. So for example, isang bacteria mag-undergo ng binary fission, ilan ang magiging bacteria? Pag binary fission, so dalawa. So pag dalawang bacteria nag-undergo ng binary fission, ilan na? Okay? Yeah. So 2 times 2 is 4. Ayan. Top 1 na daw si Rex. Okay. So next. Ayan no, nuclear fission. So there is a splitting no, of the target. Okay? Ayan. So fusion, nagkakaroon naman siya ng combination. Okay? So for example, tritium and deuterium, the isotope of hydrogen, it will actually fuse into one no, that would contain, for example, two ions. Okay? So next. Ayan, isotopes na banggitan natin kanina. So pag tinanong sa board exam, what is an isotope? An isotope is actually, for example, an element with the same atomic number. For example, ito, 6, no? Atomic number 666, but different atomic mass. So atomic mass 12, atomic mass 13, atomic mass 14. So pag pinakompute sa inyo yung number of neutron, ang gagawin niyo lang doon is atomic mass minus atomic number. So 12 minus 6 is 6, 13 minus 6 is 7, 14 minus 6 is 8. So therefore, makukuha niyo yung neutrons. The neutrons are the neutral charge. The protons are the positive charge. Remember that the atomic number is equivalent to the number of protons. Okay, kahit wala kayong nakikita sinasabi ko, atomic number is 6. Okay, protons and atomic number is equivalent, and also the number of electrons. So, pag tinanong din sa board exam, what is the determiner? No, tinatanong ko, what is the determiner of an isotope? Ang isasagot nyo ay neutron. So, paano ka nakaka-determine ng isotope? Sa pamamagitan ng neutron. Why? Tignan mo, iba-iba. So, 6, 7, and 8. And so, it determines the isotope. Okay, not proton, not electron, but neutron. Okay? So, again, sige nga, tingnan nga natin. Usually basic din tong tinatanong mga subatomic particles. How do you call the the negative charge subatomic particle? Sige nga, paki-chat nyo nga sa chat box. Negative charge subatomic particle. We call it the wala dyan kasi sa illustration. So that is the electron. Okay? So Negative electron, positive proton, neutral, neutron. Okay, so next. By the way, pag tinanong din sa board exam, saan nakatira ang proton and neutron ang sagot sa nucleus. Okay, inside the nucleus of the atom. So proton and neutron can be found in the nucleus. Baka kasi ganun eh. Where can you find the nucleus? I mean the proton and neutron, it's in the nucleus of the atom. Tinatawag silang dalawa. How do you call the two? Pag pinagsama yung proton and neutron, we call it the nucleon. Okay. So pag tinanong ano yung nucleon, that is the proton and the neutron inside the nucleus. Okay? Pag tinanong nasa naman ang electrons, that's actually outside the nucleus in the orbital. Okay? So electrons are in the orbital outside the nucleus. Next, which of the following statement is true about the textbook laid on the table? A, no force is acting on it. B, the textbook undergoes acceleration. C, the sum of the forces acting upon it is zero. Acting upon it is zero. The letter D, the textbook undergoes deceleration. Alright, sige. Of course, that's correct. No? Letter C is the answer. So tatandaan, anong true? Kapag yung libro naka-lay lang sa table, the sum of the force acting on it is zero. Okay? Meron siyang force, no? Against the table and then force doon mismo sa upward, no? So we have the reaction force of the table and then the weight of the book, no? So that means zero. Okay? So that is the total. Which of the following causes the season? Ito very common din. A, the rotation of the sun about the earth. B, the distance of the earth from the sun. C, the rotation of the earth about the sun. Or letter D, the tilting of the earth on it. Okay, I can see these here. So pag season, tatandaan nyo ano na to? That is tiltation of the earth. Sir, wala kami nakitang tiltation sa pagpipilian. Anong hahanapin mong word? Apart from tiltation, anong ibang word natin for the earth's axis? Tilt or letter I? We call it? Sige, chat natin. That is inclination. So pag nakita inclination of earth's axis, that is responsible for the seasons. Question, ilang seasons? Sige nga, pakilagay nga sa chat box, ilang seasons? Of course, we have 4, di ba? The summer, the winter, the fall, and summer, winter, fall, and spring. Question. Okay. Question. Ilang seasons meron sa Philippines? Nga, pakilagay nga sa chat box. How many seasons do we have in the Philippines? The answer will be 2. Okay? 2 ang isasagot. Okay, question. True or false? Philippines has summer. True or false? Philippines has summer. Okay, the answer is false. Wala po tayong summer, but we do have dry season. Okay, that's correct, di ba? Dry season ang term natin. Although nasanay tayo na summer season na, but dalawa lang talaga tayo. It's wet season and dry season. Oh, ang galing talaga daw ni Rex. Okay? Question. Sir, the rotation of the sun about the earth, may rotation ba yun? Usually, it's the rotation of the earth, no? Okay, rotation of the earth on its axis, ang ano naman doon, ang magiging cause naman doon is the day and night. While the revolution of the earth around the sun will actually cause 1 year. Okay? So while the earth's inclination or tilting is on its axis is season. Question, how many degrees ang tiltation ng earth sa kanyang axis? O, baka itanong sa board exam. How many degrees? Ilan? O, baka tanong eh. Diyos ko lang, pakataas naman yan, is 23.5 degrees. So, tatandaan, no, especially sa mga BEd, kasi kayo may astronomy kasi kayo in Earth. I mean, astronomy, part kasi ito ng astronomy. Sa BSED kasi usually sa Earth Science na siya, sa old curriculum. Ano dito pala? So, 23.5 degrees. So, pag itong na yan, tinuturo niya yan is the North Star. Question, anong pangalan ng North Star? How do you call the North Star? What's the name of the North Star? Pag tinanong sa board. Letter P. Sino yun? Yes, that is Polaris. Correct. Next question. ayan, no? So we have the winter solstice, no? May dalawang term tayo. Sige, explain ko lang to. Baka itanong sa board. May dalawang term tayo sa seasons natin. Meron tayong term na solstice, and equinox. So ganito lang to. Pag solstice, unequal day, unequal yung length ng day and night. Pag equinox, pantay, the equal length of day and night. So, pag solstice, usually dalawa lang yan. It's the winter solstice and the summer solstice. Okay? Kapag winter solstice, at nakita nyo sa board exam, we call it longer night, shorter day. Again, longer night, shorter day, winter solstice. Pag summer solstice, longer day, shorter night. Okay? So saan naman nangyayaring equinox? Sa dalawa rin. Sa spring, no? Sa spring equinox and then sa autumnal equinox. So during the spring and during the autumn. So pareho lang yung day and night nila. Okay? Tatandaan nyo. So ayan. Ayun, di ba? Dito pala eh. No? So summer solstice, longer days, winter solstice, longer night. Then equal for spring and autumnal. Okay? So may question ba tayo dito? Ayan. Yes, no? Yes. That's correct, Dad. Yes, no? And then, ano to? Okay, sige lang. So question, bakit tanong din sa board exam? Usually sabihin din to. May point, no? Si Earth na malapit kay araw. How do we call the point of the Earth na malapit siya sa araw? Sige, letter P. I'm giving you clues. The point where Earth is nearest to the Sun is called blank. Anong sagot? Nakalimutan na. Nakalimutan na ata. Okay, that's correct. Perihelion. Paano naman kapag yung Earth malayo sa araw? Point where the Earth is far from the Sun. Ano naman? That is aphelion. O tatandaan na, okay, pag malapit si Earth kay araw, okay, that's perihelion. Pag malayo, up. So, malayo, aphelion. Okay? So, next. Which is true about metalloids? A. Conduct heat and electricity less effectively than non-metal. B. Conduct heat and electricity better than metals. C. Conduct heat better than metals. Or letter D. Have properties of both metals and non-metals. Ito, napaka-obvious ng sagot. Siyempre, mali na yung A, B, and C, diba? Better pa rin ang metal sa metalloid. So the answer here is letter D. Properties of both metals and non-metals ang mga metalloids. So in the periodic table of elements, itong mga naka-red, no? Yan ay mga metalloids. The boron, the silicon, the germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium, and polonium. Okay? So yan. Pag tinanong sa board exam, helium, neon, argon, krypton, anong group ito or anong family? Paano sila tinatawag? How do you call this family of helium, neon? Ano yung mga yan? We call it the noble gases. So tatandaan na, tinatanong to sa board exam, noble gases. Okay? Paano naman pag tinanong sa inyo, oxygen? The group of oxygen is known as blank. Letter C. So yung oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium, ito. How do we call this? Letter C, we call it chalcogen. So lumalabas yan chalcogen, and then itong C, ano pangalan ito? Noble gases. Alright? So tatandaan yan. And then minsan din, ano pa ba yun usually? Yun lang naman, no? Usually ito kasi, di ba sa hydrogen, ano siya, tawag dito, the first element, yan, tinatanong yan, the first element, hydrogen, second element, helium, so at least alam nyo na. And then the major composition of sun, that is hydrogen and helium. And sun is actually a star. Alright, so next, ito, no, alam nyo na to, that there are 4 newly named elements. It was in 2012, nung 2012 pa to, medyo recent lang. Ito yung mga dati nating mga elements na 3-letter, yung UUT, UUS, mga ganyan. So we have nihonium, named after a place in Japan, Moscovium from Moscow, Tennessee yung element name from Tennessee in US, and Oganesson from Yuri Oganesson. So these are the elements 113, 115, 117, and 118. So basically, we have in total 118 elements in the periodic table of elements. isotopes. Okay? So next. So in a flame test, the presence of boron in a solution is evident by what color flame? To actual board question din to. A, bright green, B, gold, C, brick red, D, lilac. So pag nakita nyo agad boron, no? So ano yon? Yes, correct kayo dyan. So that is bright green. Boron, bright green. Okay? So yan. Usually yan lang naman. Boron lang naman usually na ilalabas. Ayan. Okay? Your potassium, medyo purplish, no? Ito, rubidium, medyo brick red. Pero usually boron, tatandaan. Iron, yan, medyo yellow, as well as sodium. Okay? So next, a metric carat is a unit of mass for measuring gemstones. It is equivalent to blank. A, 1,000 milligram. B, 2 kilogram. C, 200 milligram. D, 100 milligram. Okay, ito, ano lang to, ano to dito, madalas din tong tanungin. So, huwag nyo nang ano yun yan, huwag na kayo mag-iisip, that is 200 milligram. So, metric carat, 200 mg, 200 milligram. Okay? So, ayan. So, natanong ko na to sa inyo kanina that alloys are actually solution. Okay? It could be a completely soluble, partially soluble, or completely insoluble. Remember that we have 3 types of mixture, di ba? Yun yung tinatawag na susoko. Diba? Su, mas matigas, no? Suspension. Solution, mas malambot, solution. And then ko is colloid. Okay? Susuko. So that is, parang hindi nyo lang makalimutan. Yung types of mixture na yan. Alright, so next. When the North Pole is tilted towards the sun, it is summer. And when the sun shines all the time, both day and night, what do you call that? A, twilight sun. B, northern light. C, summer light. D, midnight sun. Alright. Patingin. Ano yun? Okay. Oh, anong sagot? Siyempre, yes. Midnight sun. No, karaniwan din, no? Parang ilang beses na rin itong lumabas sa board exam. So pag ganyan, we call it midnight sun. Usually, ito phenomenon to where the sun remains visible at midnight. Okay, it occurs in the summer months north of Arctic Circle and south of the Antarctic Circle. Okay, so in the northern polar region, midnight sun travels to the right, while in the southern polar region, midnight sun travels to the left. Okay, so it occurs because Earth is a rotating sphere and its rotational axis is tilted. Question, pag tinanong kayo sa board exam, what is the, tawag dito, the shape of the Earth? Okay, anong isasagot nyo sa board exam? Kung walang oblate spheroid, ang sasagot nyo ay sphere. Okay? So yan. So the flat Earth model fails to explain the midnight sun occurs on both the north and south polar regions and moves to the opposite direction. Okay? So what is the most common protic solvent? A, water. B, acetone. C, ethyl acetate. D, crown ethers. Pag yan ang tanong, okay? Anong sagot? Wala akong nakikitang sagot. Okay, pwede kayong manghula. Kunyari, hulaan nyo sa board exam. What will be your answer? Sige nga, tingnan ko kung tamang hula nyo. Okay, I can see A, I can see A, I can see C, a lot of C's. Okay, the answer is water, ha? So, tatandaan is the most common protic solvent. Alright, so ayan. Protic solvent, no? A solvent that has hydrogen atom bound to an oxygen. So a nitrogen or fluoride. So any solvent that contains a labile hydrogen ion is called a protic solvent. And usually, ang mga protic solvent natin, water, formic acid, acetic acid, ammonia, methanol, etc. Then a protic like acetone, ethyl acetate, etc. But the most common is water. At pag tinanong sa board exam, what is the chemical name for water? Anong sagot? Type din natin. Pero if you want to answer, anong sagot? Chemical name for water. Water is also known as, yes, dihydrogen monoxide. Okay? H2O kasi yan. Okay? What is the process by which the water molecules move from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane? A, osmosis. B, passive transport. C, endocytosis. D, exocytosis. What's your answer? Okay, pag nakita nyo yan, semi-permeable membrane, from higher to lower concentration, wala kang ibang sasagot kundi osmosis. No? Pag tinanong naman, how do you call the movement of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration as hindi minensyon ng water, that is diffusion. Okay? But pag tinanong sa board exam, diffusion in water, ang isasagot is osmosis. Diffusion in water, osmosis. And this is an example, osmosis, diffusion are examples of passive transport. So passive transport. So pag tinanong, which of the following is a passive transport? Yan, osmosis, simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, yan mga sasagot niya. Ano naman yung kabaligtaran ng passive transport? We have active transport. Pag nakita sa board exam, active transport, hanapin nyo yung word na, ito, shot ko, against concentration gradient. So pag nakita ninyo against concentration gradient, no, usually yan yung nilalagay nila, that is active transport. Yes, that's correct. So low to high. So endocytosis and exocytosis, usually ito, saan na to? Sa mga cellular movement. Okay? So we have exocytosis, no? Protein pump endocytosis, no? Type ito ng mga active transport, no? Large molecules, cell bases are moved outside the cell. Okay? So kaya siya exo. So endo, certain cell take substance like proteins, microorganism, and fluid. So iti-take niya naman. So endocytosis. Exo labas, endo pasok. No? Sodium and potassium ions move against the concentration gradient across the cell membrane by transport protein. So that is part of the protein pump. Okay? So next, which of the following processes include all the others? Osmosis, diffusion, facilitated diffusion, passive transport. A, B, C, or D? Nasabi ko na yan. Okay, so these are all examples of what we call, that's correct, passive transport. Lahat ng itong tatlo, A, B, and C are passive transport. Okay? Ayan, so we have the movement against the concentration gradient using energy ATP, that is active transport, while passive transfer the simple and the facilitated movement along the concentration gradient without energy. So along the concentration, passive, against, active, active, against. Okay, AA. Okay, next. In which region of the atmosphere is the concentration of water vapor greatest? A, ionosphere, B, troposphere, C, stratosphere, D, exosphere. A, B, C, or D? All right, so I can see B here. Yeah, B. Of course, no, because remember that no, in troposphere there we actually have the weather and climate, and water vapor is one of the mechanisms where we actually check the climatic or weather disturbance. So letter B is the answer. Stratosphere, ozone layer, diba? So remember that. While meteor shower is in the mesosphere. So troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and the exosphere. Okay, trust me in the exam. Okay? Ayan. So next, which country is the biggest emitter of carbon dioxide that causes global warming? A, Philippines, B, China, C, Japan, D, United States of America. If I'm not mistaken, this is in 2021 or earlier 2019 question. Anong sagot? Pag ganyan, nakita nyo yan agad, no? It's actually China. Wala na kayong ibang sasagot, kundi China. So China is actually a country which has the biggest emission of carbon dioxide, contributing to global warming. So this is the data, no? You can see the total greenhouse gas emission based on the 2021 data. Still, China pa rin, followed by US, India, Russia, and Indonesia. Okay? At pag nakita sa board exam, Gen Ed Social Science, the largest archipelago in the world is blank. Anong sagot? Ano yung pinakamalaking archipelago sa buong mundo? Philippines ba? Actually, it's Indonesia. So Indonesia is the largest archipelago, although Philippines is an archipelago. Bakit tayo archipelago? We are formed with different islands. No? So the largest island in the Philippines is blank. What is the largest island in the Philippines? Pakisagot nga sa board sa chat box. Okay, it's Luzon. Luzon is the largest. No? Followed by, sige, what's the second largest? Followed by Mindanao. That's correct. And then lastly, the third one. What is the third largest? Yeah. The third largest is Samar. That's correct. So that is Luzon, Mindanao, and Samar. Okay. The Philippines lies in the blank, an area where many volcanoes are active. A. Archipelagic fault line. B. Ring of fire. C. Wheel of fire. D. Volcanic ring. A, B, C, or D. Okay. So that is correct. That is Pacific Ring of Fire in specifically. Okay. That's why we have a lot of active volcanoes and the presence, no, and the probability that we are prone to earthquakes. Okay. So next, in the Pacific area, ito lagi rin tinatanong, a storm is called blank. A, hurricane. B, El Nino. C, typhoon. D, La Nina. In the Pacific area, we call it, of course, we call it typhoon. Okay? So yung bagyo sa atin, sa Pacific area, we call it typhoon. Okay? So in the recent, no? So ito na yung ating updated, 'di ba? So kapag 61 km per hour or less, we have tropical depression. That's the level 1. And then yung signal number 2, yung sa level 2 natin, that will be tropical storm. Usually 62 to 88 km per hour. We call it tropical storm. And then severe tropical storm or STS, 89 to 117 km per hour. Then typhoon, we have 118 to 184 km per hour. And then yung ito, recent lang, no, kanina, no, kagabi hanggang kanina, yung ating super typhoon Carding, that's from 185 km or higher. So usually it can have until signal number 5. Okay? So basically, this is our typhoon tropical cyclone warning system in the Philippines. Okay, so tropical depression, tropical storm, severe tropical storm, typhoon, then super typhoon. Okay, so next, in the Atlantic region, a storm is called A, typhoon, B, storm, C, cyclone, D, hurricane. What's the answer? Okay, yeah, so we call this as hurricane. Okay, so in Atlantic region, we call it hurricane. Okay, so ayan. So typhoon, nandiyan ang Pilipinas, in the Pacific area, no? So typhoon, no? Here, banda rito, we call it cyclone, cyclone, then hurricane, hurricane, then cyclone. Okay, so hurricane, Northeast Pacific Ocean and Atlantic Ocean, typhoon, Northwest Pacific Ocean, cyclone, South Pacific Ocean, and India. Okay, so next. Which of the following is known as the largest gas planet? A, Saturn, B, Neptune, C, Uranus, D, Jupiter. Of course, napaka-basic, diba? So, Jupiter. And it has also the biggest satellite in the solar system. Pag tinanong kayo what is the biggest satellite or biggest moon, that is Ganymede of Jupiter. So, Ganymede is the largest. Kung ito ang largest planet, what is the smallest planet? Pakitype na sa chat box. What is the smallest planet? Actually, dahil wala na si Pluto, dahil dwarf planet na siya, nakanina ng corona na kay Mercury. So, smallest planet is Mercury. Okay? So, next. Ayan, no? So, from Mercury to Neptune. Sige, drill lang tayo ng saglit. How do we, what planet is considered to be the hottest planet? Sige nga. Pakilagay nyo nga sa chat box. Okay, pag tinanong yan, hottest planet, ang sagot ay walang iba kundi si Venus. Correct. Because of its, the atmosphere is composed of greenhouse gases. Question. This planet is considered as morning star. Morning star. So, ano naman planet yung morning star? We call it the Venus din. So, morning star, Venus. Pag evening star, Venus pa rin. Pag nakita sa board exam, consider this a morning and evening star that is Venus. Okay? So, tatandaan yan. And then, ano pa? What is considered to be the planet with most sophisticated rings? Planet daw with most sophisticated rings. Yan, tinatanong din yun. So, ang sagot ay Saturn. That's correct. Okay? What is the highest rank of coal? A, lignite, B, anthracite, C, charcoal, D, bituminous. Ito, frequent question din to sa physical science. So the answer is, highest rank. Anong sagot? No, I can see A here. How about the rest? Hindi alam. Try nyo hulaan. Okay, may B. Sige. So actually, the answer is lignite. So tatandaan na, highest rank of coal, lignite. Minsan ang tanong dito, highest rank of coal with brown color. Yan. Lignite pa rin. Okay? So usually yan, lignite, ayan. Highest yan, no? So lignite, sa bituminous din, the anthracite. So ganyan yung kanilang rank. So lignite is the answer. So this refers to the space occupied by matter. A, mass. B, solubility. C, volume. D, malleability. Anong sagot? Of course, that is volume. Okay, so tatandaan that volume, no, refers to the space occupied by matter. Kaya pag tinanong kayo, how do we define matter? Matter is anything that occupies a space and has mass. And therefore, there are two major properties of matter, mass and volume. And the occupied space occupied is referring to volume. Okay, tatandaan. Question. We're talking about mass, sir. O, sige. Can you differentiate mass versus weight? O, sige, ganito yon, no? So, mass, yeah. Pag mass, tinanong kayo sa board, that is amount of matter, no? Okay, amount of matter in an object. So, for example, yung tayo, yung amount of matter natin, so kapag tayo, for example, ay nagtimbang, that's our amount of matter. We call it our body mass. Dapat hindi siya tinatawag na weight. Kasi pag weight is actually has something to do with the pull of gravity. So pag weight dyan, at nakita nyo sa board, something to do with the pull of gravity. So ano magbabago when you go to the moon? Is it the mass or the weight? Sige nga, pakilagay nga sa board. Sa chat box, is it the mass or the weight? When you go to the moon, what will change? Is it your mass or your weight? Okay, the answer is weight. So yung weight nyo ang magbabago because sa moon 1/6 lang yung gravity than of the Earth. Okay, so mass will remain the same. If you're, for example, 60 kilograms on Earth, when you go to the moon, it's still 60 kilograms because mass pertains to the amount of matter in your body. Okay? Baka lumabas yung term ng malleability. Dalawa ang laging lumalabas na term, no, in terms of property ng metal. Malleability and ductility. Okay nga? Sabihin nyo nga sa akin, kung malleability or ductility. The capacity of metal that can be turned into thin wires. Thin wires. Malleability or ductility. Ang term natin, ang concept, thin wires. Thin wires. Oh, nagiging wire. Actually, it's ductility. Again ha, pag thin wires, ductility. Okay. Thin sheets. Nagiging thin sheets naman. Nagiging sheets. So that is malleability. Kaya yung ibang metal, di ba, na pwede natin maging sheets yon, no? Okay, like for example, yung mga aluminum natin din, yung thin wires, yung copper wire, that is ductility. Okay? So next. So ayan, physical property of matter. Alam niyo na halos to, no? The length, the color, the density. So by the way, sa density, pag tinanong, how many is the density or what is the density of matter, of water, that is 1 gram per cubic centimeter. So anything na mas mababa sa 1 gram per cubic centimeter, lulutang sa tubig. Like for example, kung 0.8, 0.7, lulutang yan sa tubig. Kapag mas mataas sa 1, lulubog. Like 1.2, 1.3 gram per cubic centimeter, lulubog. Okay? So yun lang naman dyan. Luster, ability to shine. Okay? Pag nakita sa board diagram, luster is the ability to shine. Okay? So the rest, no? These are some of the something to do with the physical property of matter. Okay? So next. To what biome do the Philippines belong to? A, grassland. B, tundra. C, dipterocarp forest. D, tropical rainforest. Okay, so napakadaling tanong ito. Very basic question, that is, tatandaan na huwag niyo kakalimutan to. Tropical rainforest. Basta Philippines, tropical rainforest. Philippines, tropical rainforest. Eh, bakit siya tropical? Kasi nasa tropical, we are a tropical cancer. Ay, a tropical country. Remember that on Earth, meron tayong equator. Are we above or below the equator? Yan yung Earth. Are we above or below the equator? Okay, we are slightly above, diba, the equator. We're not in the equator, but we're slightly above. We are in the Tropic of Cancer. Okay, so we are part of the Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer sa taas, Tropic of Capricorn sa baba. Remember, di ba, your tawag dito, your latitude and longitude. Yan. So pag tinanong sa board exam kung tropical rainforest ang Philippines, ano naman ang pinakamalamig na biome? Ang isasagot nyo, tundra. So the coldest biome is tundra. Okay, so that's the answer. Okay. Next, a horizontal row of elements on the periodic table known as A, group or family, atomic number, B, C, size, D, periodic or series. Period or series? Anong sagot? Okay, syempre that is letter B, no? Period or series. So pag horizontal, tatandaan, horizon pag ganito, okay? That is period or series. Pag vertical, pag ganito, okay, these are group or family. So tingnan nga natin, ayan. So pag period, pag ganyan horizontal, we call it period 1, period 2, ayan, series 1. So pag tinanong sa board exam, ilan ang periods? 7 periods. Okay? We have 7 periods in the periodic table of elements. Kapag naman vertical, pag ganito, we call it groups or family. So all in all, we have 18 groups. Okay, so tatandaan. Okay, physical science ito. Okay, next. Scientists are always ready to change or reject hypotheses because scientists do not consider their ideas to be blank facts. A, tentative. B, absolute. C, relative. D, transitional. What's your answer? Ayan, we're down to the last few questions. Okay, so that is letter B. Okay, so tatandaan, that is letter B because do not consider their ideas to be absolute facts. So therefore, science can be very dynamic. No? What is true today may not be true tomorrow. No? We can refute some of these, kagaya ngayon, before, Pluto is considered as a planet, pero ngayon it is now considered as a dwarf planet because there is a new definition issued by the International Astronomical Union. Okay? So kailan siya na-demote sa planet noong August 2006. So since August 2006, hindi na siya planet kundi dwarf planet. So therefore, pag tinanong sa board exam, ilan ang planets na meron tayo sa solar system? Anong sagot? Ilan? Ilan ang planeta? That's correct. Doon meron tayo 8 planeta. Pag tinanong, the only life-sustaining planet, anong sasagot? The only life-sustaining planet is, that's okay. Okay, so next. Ayan, no? So baka tanongin din sa inyo yung hypothesis. Alam na alam niyo yan sa research, no? We have the two types of hypothesis, the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. So pag null hypothesis, usually you can find the word no. For example, light color has no effect on plant growth. There is no significant difference. There's no significant relationship. Pag alternative A, no? Light color affects plant growth. There is a significant difference. There is a significant relationship. So null, no, alternative A. So null, these are types of hypothesis. And when I say hypothesis, tinanong yan sa board exam, usually it's the educated guess or tentative solution to a problem. So pag nakita sa board exam, it refers to a tentative solution to a problem. Your answer will be hypothesis. Pag maraming hypothesis, magiging letter E yang I dyan. Okay? So we also have the independent variable. Baka itanong din to sa board exam. So yung variable that is changed, no? So that is independent variable. Variable affected by the change will be the dependent variable. For example, ang independent variable ninyo will be the amount of water. Okay, so for example, dito medyo konti, marami, super konti. And then what will be the dependent variable? Then the size of plant, number of leaves, mamamatay ba o hindi, living or dead. So this will actually be the affected by the change that you did in your independent variable. Okay? So next, what functional group differentiates chitin from cellulose? A, amino group. B, phosphate. C, carboxyl. D, hydroxyl. Ito, what's the answer here? A, B, C, or D? You can see A, you can see C here by direct message. How about the others? Alright, so ang sagot dyan is hydroxyl. So tatandaan nyo na, basta nakita nyo yung question na to, chitin from cellulose is actually the hydroxyl that differentiate the two. Okay? Because chitin and cellulose are almost similar polysaccharide compounds. Cellulose contains a hydroxyl group, whereas chitin contains an acetamide group. So therefore, it's a hydroxyl group that differentiate them. Chitin and cellulose are both component of cell walls. So chitin for fungi, cellulose for plants. Okay? Iron is what type of magnetic material? A, ferromagnetic, B, diamagnetic, C, paramagnetic, D, non-magnetic. Ang daming sagot. Very familiar ba to? Okay, so that's correct. No? Letter, halos letter A ang sagot. Ferro means iron. No? Ferrum. Actually, kaya Fe yung atomic symbol. That means ferrum. It's a Latin term. So, ferromagnetic. Okay? An atom of silicon has a mass number of 28 and an atomic number of 14. How many protons are in this atom? A, 28, B, 12, C, 7, D, 14. Again, sinabi natin, the atomic number is the same with the number of protons and the number of electrons. And so if the atomic number 14, you're being asked of the proton, and so that's the answer. Question, how many numbers of electrons? Paki-ano nga sa chat box, how many electrons? If protons are 14, how many electrons? 14 pa rin, diba? Okay. Question, how many neutron? Neutron. Sige. Still 14. Why? 28 atomic mass minus atomic number 14 is 14. Okay? So that's correct. Okay, next question. Element X is an electron configuration of 1:2, 2:2, 2p2. No? Based on information, element X belongs to A and blank family. A, alkali metal, B, halogen, C, inert gas, D, carbon. So ito yung mga subscript niya, no? Kung bibilangin mo yung electron, 2, 4, 6, nasa element number 6 siya. So ano yung element number 6? Diba? That is carbon. Okay?
Carbon.
Yes, that's correct. Carbon. No? Question, minsan CPRC, iniiba niya, no? Walang carbon, no? Wala kayong makikitang carbon sa pagpipilian. Anong isasagot nyo? Okay, what will you answer kung walang carbon sa pagpipilian? Letter C then. Okay, the answer will be connage, no? Yan. So pag nakita sa board exam, connage, yan ang isasagot. Pag chalcogen, sa oxygen naman yun. Usually nasa element 8 yan. Yung lahat yung sa element number 8 at sunod-sunod, that's chalcogen. Pag wala kayong makitang carbon sa board exam, connage. Madalas lumabas to. Lumabas to last June 2022. Malay nyo lalabas ngayon ulit ng October 2020. Okay? Although, carbon dapat talaga yun. Pero kung wala talagang carbon, it's connage. Okay? Which of the following is true about heat transfer? A, heat flows from an object with higher temperature to an object with lower temperature. B, transfer heat directly to a material. C, heat flows from an object with lower temperature to an object with higher temperature. Or letter D, transfer of heat through movement of fluid. Okay. So what's the answer? Okay, mukhang, sige, hulaan nyo kung hindi alam. Okay, sige, wala ko no, medyo, siguro, medyo mahirap ba yan? Okay, so I can see 2 answers na. Okay, sige, tingnan nga natin kung tama. So actually, it's letter A. Now, heat flows from an object with higher temperature to an object with lower temperature. So from higher to lower temperature. Okay, so this is the heat transfer. No? In the process of reaching thermodynamic, heat is transferred from the warmer to the cooler object, from higher to lower temperature. At thermodynamic equilibrium, heat transfer is 0. Okay, so there are 3 modes of heat transfer nicely explained here. There are 3, no? Convection, conduction, and radiation. So pag convection, the transfer heat through a fluid caused by molecular motion, usually yung boiling water. Okay? Pag conduction, the transfer of heat from one substance to another due to direct contact, yung kamay nyo dito sa ng kettle na to, that could be a conduction. Okay? Kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na conductor and insulator. Pag conductor, they are good in conducting heat or electricity, while insulator, it does not conduct heat or electricity. Radiation is energy that is radiated or transmitted in the form of rays or waves or particles. Especially, for example, nasa kunyari, malamig, sobrang lamig, mag-aano ka ng bonfire, you can have that. Or even, for example, the sunbathing, yan, radiation. Okay? So next, we have a few questions here. How do scientists generally speculate on how the dinosaurs became extinct? A, sudden change by meteoric impact. B, impact of solar waves. C, advent of the ice age. Or letter D, loss of oxygen. All right. So that's correct, no? Yes. So letter A. No? Sudden change by meteoric impact. So that is letter A. So that is there is speculation. Okay? Yun yung mga sa meteor or kaya yung comet. No? So pag nakita ito, that will be the best answer. Okay? So next number, because the production of fossil fuel, petroleum, and coal will run out in the future, these are cold sources of energy. A, renewable. B, traditional. C, conservative. D, non-renewable. Ano kaya itong mga to? Coal, petroleum, pag nakita nyo to, fossil fuels, these are, that's correct, non-renewable sources of energy. Question, ano yung mga renewable? Can you put it in the chat box ng mga example ng mga renewable energy? Sige nga. Correct. We have sun, air, water. That's correct. No, biomass, yan, hydroelectric. Yes, that's correct. Okay. Next, chemists use chemical to express chemical reactions. A, mixtures. B, synthesis. C, equations. D, formulas. Ano yan? Mixture, synthesis, equations, or formulas. Okay, I can see some responses. Okay. Mukhang nalito kayo dyan, no? So, basically, these are equations. Remember that in a chemical reaction, there should be a chemical equation. Before the chemical equation, we call it the reactants. Before the arrow is our reactants. After the arrow, we call it the product. So, tatandaan yan, ha? Yes, equation. Yan, no? Diba? Very vague yung question, no? I got it from the actual board, kaya I retained it. So that's how they ask it, so that we call it equation. Okay? Next, of physical properties of matter, which is the amount of matter in an object. Example, 144 grams of a baseball. A, mass. B, volume. C, density. D, physical state. Very easy to. Of course, that is, no, meron tayong unit of grams there. So that is a mass. Okay? So that is mass. But volume usually liters, milliliters, yan. The density, yan yung gram per cubic centimeter. That's why the density of water, we have 1 gram per cubic centimeter. That's correct. Okay? In regulating science, what is the traditional way taken when qualified scientists evaluate the work of other scientists? A, peer review. B, collegial studies. C, journal publication. D, competitive inquiry. Ito, tinatanong to kasi part ito ng scientific research. So pag nakita nyo to, no, pinapa-evaluate nyo to doon sa ibang scientists. Pag nakita yung ganitong tanong, ang sasagot nyo ay peer review. Pinapa-review natin sa iba. Okay? So ginagawa to bago ma-publish yung paper, no? Sa research, for example, ako magsasubmit ako sa journal, meron silang kukunin mga 3 or mahigit pa na mag-review yung paper ko. And then ibabalik sa akin for revision based on the comment. So again, ang sagot dyan is peer review. Okay? So you won the jackpot prize in the lottery. The prize money cannot be paid in currency, but only in gold. Applying your knowledge in chemistry, select the largest amount of gold from the choices below. A, 297 grams of gold. B, 40 kilograms of gold. C, Avogadro's number of atoms gold. Or letter D, 22.4 moles of gold. Napaka-obvious, di ba? O, napaka-obvious yung sagot dito. 'Di ba? Oh, ikaw ba naman, hindi ka ba mabibigatan dito sa letter B? 40 kilos, 'di ba, of gold. So napakabigat na 'yan. Imagine mo 'yan, 'no? Halos mag-aano na 'yan, iisang kabang bigas na 'yan, 'di ba? Ayun. Alright, so 'yan 'no. So meron pa tayong tanong. I think, that's the last one. So again, thank you for joining me sa napaka-late kong pagtawag sa inyo. Ano lang 'to 'no, para lang madaanan natin yung mga basic physical science question that might come out again in your board examination this, October 2022. Ilang days na lang 'no, ilang tulog na lang. So tomorrow, if you have no questions by the way, I will stop, sharing 'no. So again, thank you so much 'no for joining me tonight. I hope meron kayong natutunan 'no. So I'll, stop recording.